A fighter jet that was never announced, never unveiled at an air show, never paraded in front of cameras. Yet it's already been flying for years. While the world argued about the F-35, while China rolled out mock-ups and prototypes, the Pentagon was quietly building something else, something different. The U.S. Air Force has now confirmed that a sixth-generation fighter aircraft, developed under the Next Generation Air Dominance program, has been flying in secret since at least 2020. And what they've built doesn't just improve on existing fighter jets. It changes the way air warfare works. This aircraft, often referred to as the F-47, is not just a plane. It's the center of an entire combat system. And once you understand how it works, you'll realize why the Pentagon kept it hidden for so long. So how does it actually work? Why did the Air Force abandon traditional fighter design rules? And why does this jet force China and Russia to rethink everything they've planned? Today, we're breaking down the fighter jet the Pentagon designed in silence. Why the Pentagon went quiet for decades. The U.S. military followed a familiar pattern. New fighters were announced early, prototypes were shown, adversaries watched every step. That changed with NGAD. Instead of revealing designs, the Pentagon went silent. No official name, no public renderings, no press tours. According to the U.S. Air Force, this was deliberate. Modern warfare moves too fast. If your enemy knows what you're building, they design counters before your aircraft ever enters service. So the Air Force flipped the model. Rather than announcing a program and slowly building toward it, they built first and talked later. In 2020, then Assistant Secretary of the Air Force Will Roper confirmed that a full-scale NGAD demonstrator had already flown. Not a concept, not a wind tunnel model, a real aircraft. That alone was unprecedented. But what made this aircraft different wasn't just secrecy. It was philosophy. NGAD was never meant to be the next F-22 or a better F-35. It was designed from day one to operate in an environment where air bases are under missile threat, satellites are jammed, GPS can't be trusted, pilots face sensor overload, and enemy aircraft may never even appear on radar. This aircraft had to survive, command, and dominate in that environment, and that meant breaking old rules. Section 2. Not a fighter, a system. One of the most misunderstood things about the so-called F-47 is this. It is not just a fighter jet. The Air Force doesn't even describe NGAD as a single aircraft. They call it a family of systems. At the center of that system is a manned aircraft, the jet people refer to as the F-47. But surrounding it are autonomous combat drones, space-based sensors, cyber and electronic warfare platforms, long-range weapons, and AI-driven battle management. In other words, this aircraft isn't meant to fight alone. It's meant to orchestrate the fight. Air Force leaders often describe the NGAD fighter as a quarterback. Not the fastest player on the field, not the one doing everything, but the one seeing the entire battlefield at once. That changes everything. Traditional fighter pilots manage flying the aircraft, monitoring sensors, communicating with allies, identifying threats, and deploying weapons. That's already near the limit of human capability. NGAD removes much of that burden. The aircraft's onboard systems, powered by artificial intelligence, process sensor data faster than a human ever could. The pilot doesn't fight the jet. The pilot commands the system. And the most visible part of that system is autonomous aircraft. Section 3. Autonomous drones and human control. The Air Force calls them Collaborative Combat Aircraft, or CCAs. These are not remote-controlled drones. They are autonomous combat platforms designed to fly alongside manned fighters, scout ahead into dangerous airspace, jam enemy radar, carry weapons, and absorb risk that a human pilot shouldn't. The NGAD fighter is designed to control multiple CCAs at once. How many? The Air Force hasn't released an exact number, but officials have openly discussed 2 to 8 drones per manned aircraft as a realistic goal. That means one pilot could effectively command a small formation. But here's the critical part. The pilot is not micromanaging. The AI handles formation keeping, threat avoidance, sensor fusion, and basic decision-making. The human sets objectives. Think less remote control and more mission commander. This matters because future air combat will happen faster than human reaction time. Missiles travel at hypersonic speeds. Electronic attacks occur in milliseconds. If a pilot has to manually manage everything, they lose. NGAD doesn't remove the human from the loop. It removes the human from the overload. And no other Air Force has demonstrated this level of human-machine teaming at scale. Section 4. Stealth redefined. When people hear stealth, they think radar. That's outdated. Modern air defenses use radar infrared sensors, electronic intelligence, passive detection systems. NGAD is designed to address all of them. The Air Force uses the term broadband low observability. That means the aircraft is designed to be hard to detect across multiple parts of the electromagnetic spectrum, not just radar. Unlike older stealth aircraft, NGAD isn't optimized for one angle. It's designed to reduce signatures from every direction. This includes reduced infrared exhaust, carefully managed heat distribution, minimal electronic emissions, and advanced shaping. Exact details are classified. But Air Force officials have stated clearly that NGAD's survivability is far beyond fifth-generation fighters. And unlike earlier stealth jets, NGAD was designed with digital engineering from day one. That allowed engineers to simulate radar interactions, test thermal behavior, and optimize materials before building physical aircraft. This dramatically shortened development time. Which brings us to something even more revolutionary. Section 5. The engine revolution. At the heart of NGAD is a new type of engine. The Air Force calls it an adaptive cycle engine. Traditional jet engines are a compromise. You either optimize for fuel efficiency or maximum thrust. Adaptive engines do both. They use a third airflow stream that can be adjusted in flight. In cruise mode, the engine prioritizes efficiency and range. In combat mode, it prioritizes thrust and performance. Both General Electric and Pratt & Whitney have successfully tested adaptive engine prototypes under the Air Force's AETP program. The Air Force has confirmed that NGAD will use this technology. Why does this matter? Range. The Pacific is vast. China's strategy relies heavily on long-range missiles, attacks on air bases, pushing U.S. forces farther from the fight. NGAD's increased range allows operations from more distant bases, less vulnerable locations, with reduced dependence on tanker aircraft. That alone reshapes strategic planning. But adaptive engines do something else. They generate massive electrical power, and that power enables future systems. Section 6. Power for the future. Modern fighter jets aren't limited by weapons anymore. They're limited by power. Advanced sensors, electronic warfare systems, high-bandwidth data links. All of them consume electricity. NGAD is designed with significantly higher power generation capacity than previous fighters. The Air Force has openly stated this is to support advanced electronic warfare, new sensor types, and future weapon systems. While directed energy weapons like lasers remain classified and unconfirmed for NGAD, the power architecture is clearly designed with future growth in mind. This is something China and Russia are still struggling with. You can't simply add power later. You have to design for it from the beginning. The Pentagon did. Section 7. Why this changes air warfare. Put all of this together. A manned aircraft that sees the battlefield better than any pilot, commands autonomous teammates, operates from farther away, survives in heavily defended airspace, and adapts faster than its enemies. This isn't incremental improvement. It's a shift in how air dominance is achieved, instead of relying on numbers, massive fleets, and vulnerable bases. The U.S. is betting on integration, flexibility, and decision advantage. That's why the Pentagon stayed quiet. Revealing this early would have allowed adversaries to prepare. Now, the foundation is already built. The aircraft people call the F-47 isn't famous. It doesn't have airshow footage. It doesn't have dramatic rollouts. And that's the point. The Pentagon didn't want attention. They wanted advantage. What they've built under the NGAD program represents a new era of American air power, one defined not by a single jet, but by a system designed to dominate future conflicts before they even begin. While others focused on what they could see, the U.S. focused on what comes next. And by the time the world fully sees this aircraft in service, the rules of air warfare will already have changed. If you want to understand how that future is being built, before it's obvious, make sure to subscribe because the most important developments don't always make headlines. Sometimes they fly in silence.